Games page. Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt include all popular games with a little description of each game. Call to action buttons for each game. 6. About SFI description about SF with picture and call to action button. 7. Contact page your picture, status, mail, and call to action button. Website hits counter to have to control daily visitors. Social buttons if you like. We make this page on Wix who has his own domain. Note: after order please read. Made website on social media to use this personal website to attract new PSA. PRM. Grab an opportunity to promote your online business with your own personalized website. 1. You get this site as it is, Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt, and no further changes will be made. 2. The control, access, and property of the site remains with us. 3. Search engine friendly and AMP optimized mobile view. Get found by Google, Yahoo, Bing, etc. Why do they focus on what bait is presented to lure visitors in and not on what opportunities are made to engage them? I feel very strongly that a defining museum of contemporary art in one of the biggest cities in America should attract Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt, ladies' tee, long-sleeved, sweater and hoodie. Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer ladies' tee. Ladies' tee. More than 150,000 visitors annually. It should probably attract more than 400,000 visitors annually. The numbers are signposts that demonstrate the extent to which diverse people in a Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt community engage with the objects, stories, experiences and learning that come with a museum visit. And if contemporary art experiences are really going to be a significant part of daily life in a big city, the museum has to have a presence worth talking about, arguing about, and visiting. Consider the MCA Denver, which has become a national media darling for director Adam Lerner's eagerness to take on an ambitious goal of engaging a whole community with contemporary art. I agree Christians should fall under non-zero sum, but shouldn't we at least be aware of the tactics the devil may use in his zero-sum games? Did you ever read D. Miller's Disciplining Nations? I was reading it today. He talks a good bit about Malthus and whether our worldview inclines us to see the world as a zero-sum or non-zero-sum game. He says those having a secular worldview see the world as a closed system and a zero-sum game. He suggests a theistic worldview would imply a non-zero-sum world where God invites us to draw greater potential from the earth's natural resources through creativity and wisdom. His thoughts brought up memories I had of you writing on the subject, so I Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt thought I'd look up your stance. Looks like you two were in agreement. To add some implications to it, I'm currently studying this subject in the context of business leadership and the case for servant leadership. The argument is, it's more difficult to be a servant leader. Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer long-sleeved. Long-sleeved. In the workplace. If you have a zero-sum worldview. Still possible if you're willing to go to the cross for the other. Per your Joker Fairy post where morality trumps rationality. But, if we approach Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt the work situation as a non-zero sum, we can more readily focus on the well-being of the other. So with business leaders, when budget constraints come into play, some are quicker to eliminate headcount. Better servant leaders will strive to make the business case for why increased spend is in the best interest of the company as well. So to create a win-win for the company and employee who gets to keep his/her job. With guided shots, just about any spot on the map is vulnerable to fire from an open vantage point, from where it is easier for the player in the vantage point to guide shots in than it is for the entrenched tank to guide them out. But without guided shots, taking cover forces your opponent to come to you, which gives you an advantage. This made Mode 3 less interesting. As the Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt game dynamic had both of us turtling until one got bored and attacked. Your turret always faces the direction you are moving, and rotation is very slow, which means that when you move into a position where you can hit an opponent, you still Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer sweater need to Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt rotate so you can hit them. But they have probably already rotated their turret towards you during your approach and can fire at you right away. Perhaps this could have been remedied if the tank game had some way of rotating the turret independently of the tank, but that's just not a feature of this game. Among Us has quickly risen atop other top-down indie games in the past month after having spent the last 2 years in exile. The game has once again proved to the gamer base that you don't need high-intensive graphics to get players to play it, and sometimes it's just the way you tell a story that makes it even more attractive. Inner Sloth has gained quite a popularity for just that, and Among Us has soared the ranks of multiplayer games like Fortnite and others with nothing but sheer brilliance. Although the game supports unrestricted crossplay between PC, iOS, and Android, you might be wondering if Among Us can be played on a Mac. In this post, we'll explain the different Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt ways you can play Among Us on your macOS device and suggest to you which one you should try depending on the devices you have at hand. Let's take a closer look. Play button. What is Among Us and why the hype? Is Among Us available? Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer hoodie on the Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt Mac App Store? Yes, but the availability is limited. It's not only a Christian God who brazenly trusts humanity. And what's with all the covenants anyway? But Gandhi's Satyagraha, truth force trusts when it relies on a hateful enemy recognizing his deeds and ceasing in the face of passive resistance. Brilliant insight. Many of us have been taught that the world is basically bad and out to get us. Basically agnostic view of the world falling out of a misreading of Augustine. But when we start to see through this kind of lens the basic goodness of the world, especially the basic goodness of God towards creation, this vantage really opens us up towards a life of generosity. My experience is that people are attracted to that expression, and although there have been a few who really took advantage of our generous nature, even when that happened, worse was a con artist that took us for a grand. It really evokes pity, not anger. Pity that they didn't trust the basic goodness of life and felt the Hot 3 Gnomes Happy Patrick's beer shirt had to take what we joyfully gave anyway. But isn't that what the kingdom of God is about? Turning things on their heads. Amazingly, this simple little program won the whole tournament. That is, its cumulative total from all rounds was higher than any other submitted program. But here is the interesting part. Axelrod went back and classified all the other products